Okay, so make sure that those placards are well hidden. So when the video is on me, no one can see your placards. And if anyone asks you, I didn't strong arm you into this. You agreed to it, all right? Right. Paul Smart, welcome to Rad-Ventures, the podcast that takes you on an exhilarating journey through the lives of entrepreneurs and business owners. Great to have you on the show, Paul.
Great to be here. Thank you very much.
How about you tell our listeners and watchers all about yourself?
Okay, well, I'm Paul. I'm the co-founder and co-director of Smartual. We are based out of Bournemouth, or Southbourne, and more specifically in Bournemouth. I run the business with my wife, Kate, and we have a lovely 12-year-old daughter and 2 Yorkshire Terriers who work with us as well.
Nice. Very much kindred spirits, you and I, Paul. We met through Rachel Clayton, who was on the show. She was bonus episode for ADHD Awareness Month. So if you're not listening to that one, it was between 8 and 9, I think. But yes, we met through her and hit it off, did we not?
We did, yeah. We had a very kind introduction through Rachel, who's lovely Rachel. And yeah, we hit it off since then, and we've been keeping in touch since, haven't we?
Yeah, and cool facts, I have a 12-year-old daughter too. I don't have 2 Yorkies. I've obviously got a grumpy old toy poodle. But my partner didn't found my business with me. But so there's very subtle differences. It's not like you can walk into a pub and we're never there at the same time. It's not like we're completely the same person.
No, absolutely.
Just out of interest, though, what's the first rule of Fight Club?
Oh, you don't talk about it.
Don't talk about what?
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Oh, you talked about it. All right, let's get to the proper show. Okay, so great to have you on the show, Paul, if I haven't said that already. So, Smartual, yeah? You, Kate, yeah. Paul and Kate Smart, co-founders. What do you do over at Smartual for the benefit of the listeners and watchers?
Well, we're a dedicated small business support provider. So we provide various different support levels to entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. We don't see ourselves just as your average support company. We're a little bit different, where we try and really focus on building relationships with clients, and it's really about collaborating. So we partner with our clients to try and work out the best things that we can do to try and move that business forward or reach the goals of the owner. So it could be, for example, that someone comes to us, they've got a problem, they have been overload, they've got too much to do, they don't know how to try and organise things, they've got so much on, they just don't know what to do. So we work with them, we get to know their business, we work with how they're trying to get over things and come up with systems, processes, and levels of support that cover all aspects of business, right the way through from the first point of marketing, right the way through to customer referrals, finance and beyond, and really try and give that true value that we can to hit those goals. So it could be growth goals, or it could be overwhelm, or it could be just stuck in the business, and really work with them just to try and work out how the best ways to navigate that path is.
Nice. I like it. Not too dissimilar from myself in my day job, obviously not podcast hosting. Freelance admin, I like to call it. But we'll go on to that a bit later on, because I'm sure we will talk about the similarities in our business, and we can talk about the buzzwords around that. But first, we want to know if, when you were at school, is that what you decided you wanted to do? Were you always wanting to be in business and working with your wife, or did you have aspirations of doing something else?
As a kid, I had aspirations of doing pretty much everything else. I think it was all those typical. I was a really active child, so I was constantly out building forts in the woods, sport, everything you can possibly imagine on the sports front. I would have a go out and try it, and I think I saw myself in a very active thing. So sports was one thing I really wanted to do, but didn't, as most people don't seem to these days, pursue it beyond sort of teens and adulthood. Army was a big thing for me as well, with that active nature. I'd always brought up with that type of thing. So the forces was something that was always something on my mind. And then other crazy things would pop in my head, like be a pilot or do something. So I was never really, as a kid, I was very much this jumble of all these different ideas that I could be in. And I think it wasn't until really sort of early, little late teens, I started thinking about business, and before I went to university, that's really when it started to kick into my head that I wanted to do something a bit different to a sort of traditional job, if that made sense.
Ah, I understand. So did you just kind of walked the path up until your late teens, school, sixth form, heading off to university?
Well, yeah, I was always really busy. So I did literally everything I could do to keep out of the house and keep busy. So I played football, cricket, rugby, any sport, hockey, anything I could do, swimming. I would just be so into stuff that they always became my kind of focus, really. I then got a job really early. I got a job at 14, 15, mowing grass for someone down the road, and would get on my bike every morning in the cold, with much to my own despair, really, and go off and do something and try and earn money. So money and trying to have some pocket money and do things I wanted to do were always a big part of it. So, yeah, that I think I was always had a good work ethic. So I always tried to work hard, always interested in just being out there, really. Trying to grow up a bit too quickly, I suppose, is part of that, and just putting myself out there. So I did that from 14, 15, doing some grass, and going from there.
I think we all kind of did that, didn't we? Like, can't wait to be a grown up.
Yeah.
And I like the memes you see online where it's like, when you're a kid, you hated going to bed at 9 o'clock. And then when you're older, you find that the optimum time to go to bed is about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's definitely now. It seems to be my life.
Yeah, but it's like, I can't wait to grow up. I'm not going to bed at 9 o'clock. I'll show you. And then, you get to your late 30s and you're a bit like, oh, right, can't wait to go to bed. What time is it? Quarter to 9? Oh, got another 15 minutes yet.
I know, especially with it doing dark now. It's sort of like, is it early enough? Is it okay to go to bed now?
Yeah, it's like 7:30. It's like, it's fine. We can go to bed now.
yeah. I say to my daughter, turn the lights out when you go.
Yeah. Like, good night. See you tomorrow. Bedtime for us. Okay, so what did you do at university then?
I studied business studies at the University of West of England in Bristol. It was a kind of a newish thing then. It wasn't something that. So this is going back to 1997, so quite a while ago, and it was something that I thought was relatively new at the time and something slightly different. So it was just something. It was one of those things I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to university, I wanted to have the experience, and I knew with my brain was 100 miles an hour, I needed to do something different. I thought, and that's kind of the path that I went to, really, with Bristol. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And so presumably you finished university with your degree. Where did you go from there?
I stayed in Bristol for enough. I was my partner Kate, who's with me now, my wife now. We lived together at the end of my time in Bristol, and then I got a corporate job. Went straight into corporate and worked for what is now EE, but Orange. It was in those days, so Orange Mobile Phones, and went straight into the Central Infrastructure Support Department, which is a department within the engineering team, which is a bit strange for a business degree to go into that, but it was a way in to doing a sort of big company really in the area, big technology company, a big sort of pioneer at the time of mobile tech and things like that.
Yeah, I just, in my head then, I just thought of what Orange was before they were, oh no, it wasn't. I was thinking of BT. It was BT Cellnet, that was T-Mobile, wasn't it? And then, which is now, T-Mobile went to one-to-one. Or were they one-to-one? No, that was it. BT Cellnet went to O2.
O2, didn't they? Yeah.
One-to-one went to T-Mobile, and then T-Mobile obviously got enveloped with Orange to form
Orange,
EE.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, they had when I was there, it was being taken over at the time. It was Hutchinson 3G, I believe, or technology before, and then they went into Orange, and then it was been taken over by France Telecom at the time. So it stayed for Orange for a little while, and then went into EE after that.
Yeah, Telefonica's the big one now, isn't it? They're the O2 owners. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny what you pick up through growing up in the 90s, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, everything it was all these changes and all these new techs at the time, wasn't it, as well? And mobile phones I had my first mobile phone at 20 or 21. That's when it came to me. So unlike nowadays, when it's brought up, that it was a very interesting time.
Yeah, I think my first phone was a Motorola. The new SIM card with a pay-as-you-go. Oh no, I had a contract phone, but it was like, do not use it unless it was emergencies. And it had a flip down front and a pull-up aerial. And
cool.
yeah, and it was like, and then obviously the pay-as-you-go world opened up, and which is then when everyone was getting this. They all had the same Motorola because that was on. You either had the Motorola on Orange or you had the smaller one on BT Cellnet, didn't you?
Yeah, And I remember the motor. I had a Motorola as well when they kept the flip down fronts and the Razor, I think, or whatever they were called. I can't remember, or the Edge. I can't remember what it was called at the time. I might be wrong. But yeah, I loved the Motorola when it first came out. It was a bit different, but not that you see them anymore, really.
No, and it was a thing, wasn't it? You had to, you went to the supermarket or you went to Argos to look at the new mobile phones. And I
Yeah.
remember they were like 40, 50 quid, weren't they? And you're like, oh, I'm going to get that one next year.
Yeah.
And now we buy an iPhone and we just have the same one until it eventually gives up. And then we're like, oh, begrudgingly buy a newer model.
Yeah, and we keep putting new screens on them every time we break them, or new protectors, or new this, or new that, which was never a thing, was it? It was just like you said, it was going to a supermarket, get the latest page, go 20, 30, 40 quid, and then crack on again.
Remember when you could change the network that you were on? You could change that there to it used to say orange on your phone, on your Nokia. You said, but you could change that. You could buy it from somewhere. You could download it, and it would be sent to you. And I remember for the time I had the old "What's Up" from Budweiser.
I missed that, but I didn't do that. I must admit, I didn't do that.
Something. I think because you only had your phone at 21, and you're a couple of years older than me. So this was when I was 14, 15, I suppose. Year 9 kind of age, I think. No, year 10, 11. Year 10, I think, I would say. And so we had all that jazz and buy-in ringtones, and you could buy covers for your Nokia 3310 or whatever it was. 3110 was the first one I had.
Was it? Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, mine was actually a Nokia NK402 that had the bigger battery. Cool. So, obviously, you didn't stay within the telecoms world.
No, I had a very. I was young. I was only 22, 23 at the time. I know I did quite well as far as getting on with people. Just again, hard work ethic, I think, really worked, and it just got to the point where I could quite quickly see that corporate world was not really what I wanted to be in. There was a lot of politics, a lot of. You were a very small fish in a very, very large ocean, and I think that with me, just with my sort of mindset, didn't really suit and didn't really fit, and I just didn't see the point in it. If this is the honest opinion, so it was just I needed to do something different. I needed to spread my wings a little bit and just kind of almost get out of what was going to be a rat race and what was going to be the next 20, 30 years of my life doing the same thing. And that's kind of ironically something else happened with that in where I ended up. So yeah, it was an interesting sort of outlook, which I am now following maybe.
Yeah, I mean, what always comes to my mind is then, because I was in the semi-corporate, and I thought, climb the ladder as you do, shirt and ties, get the job title, get the more money, stay in the same company because that's what you do. And I was like, and I loved the company I worked for, and they really looked after us. But it was when someone said, I wouldn't move on, delivery in the UK, and it's mainland UK was the word, which I was like, if it's not separated by water, it's mainland UK. So, John O'Groats, not classed as mainland UK, according to some people.
Okay.
But I was like, no, it's mainland because there's no water separating us. Shetland, different matter. You're going on a boat. Isle of Wight, you go. I'm pointing that way because that's actually north, so it's over there, that way somewhere. But it's like Isle of Wight, you're getting on a boat. If you're not getting on a boat, it's mainland, right?
Absolutely.
And someone said to me, you need to read this book called Who Moved My Cheese? Have you read it?
No, I'm writing this down now. It sounds great.
It's a great book. It's about two humans and two rats. I can't remember the humans' names, but I think they're Hem and Haw is the rats or the mice. And basically, everyone's trapped in a maze, and you have to go and find your cheese. And the rats go off into the dark and find their way. But I can't believe what this podcast has turned into. I'm talking about a motivational book. But yeah, so the rats off into the dark. They're finding their way. No fear, straight out. Woo, got to find the best cheese. The two blokes, I can't remember their name, they find a cheese space, which, it's just a massive room filled with cheese. And then they start with their fill, and then they set up like a little camp not too far from the cheese place. And then they wander to the cheese place. But then after a while of, just wandering, they kind of lose their shape, and they've hung up their running shoes for running around the maze, and they just eat the cheese it's in Cheese Factory C or whatever it's called, and then they start to run out of cheese. And so then it's all about, whether or not what they're going to do. One of them sits there and had a paddy. The other one decides he's going to put on his running shoes and head back out into the maze. And I can't remember the ultimate end of the book. So go and read it. And I don't want to give it away, just in case, someone might listen to this and be like, what's all this about? But essentially, the idea was that I should read this book and realize that, I should perhaps change my mindset a little bit. And what it made me realize was that I was at Cheese Station C. I'd taken off my running shoes and I was sat there in the same booth, doing the same thing day in, day out, answering the same queries that the marketing department wouldn't change. And I just thought, there's, why do I want to do this? I was like going out in the world, and I'd see something that reminded me of work, and I'd be like, did I send that quote to that parish council for that thing over there? And then I'd be like, oh, it's okay, I'll do it Monday or whatever. Or yes, no, you did that, don't worry. I thought, this is not for me. Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna go, and so I was like, I'll go somewhere else. And so I did go somewhere else. I hated that even more. So what? I don't know. Insert your own lesson here.
Yeah, mine was similar to that, because I wanted to. My biggest thing when I was sat in the corporate sort of thing was just how insignificant it was. Just how my mind worked, really, how insignificant what I was doing. Although it felt it at the time, it didn't. I just wanted to affect the business differently. I think that's I wanted to have a bigger impact on what I did mean a bit more, if that makes sense. And it was just. I think that was the driver behind. Doing what I then next did. So it was definitely about that impact level for me, and just thinking, if I'm just pushing this around all the time, it doesn't seem to matter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like one thing that I hated was like management meetings. So you'd go to a meeting on a Wednesday afternoon, and you'd be sat there, and it was like a 3-week rotation. So you talk about the thing, whatever the thing may be. I'm not going to name specific individuals just in case people work out where I used to work or something, They can just check my LinkedIn, but they won't do that. They're nice. Anyway, so you talk about a problem and then how you're going to fix the problem. We'll review next week. You go back the week after. Anyone fix that problem? Been too busy, not had enough time. Okay. 2 weeks pass by. Then we've got a big problem. What's the big problem? Same problem we were talking about 3 weeks ago. Well, what do we do to fix it? Well, nothing. We've all been too busy. And so it was just like this rotation. But and then you're like, but in the in-between weeks, the 2 weeks that you had in between was a different problem. So you just kept going around in circles.
Build and build.
Yeah, I'd like to think that happened in other companies. Otherwise, I'm making this company sound really bad. But my impression was that it's the same everywhere.
I think it pretty much is, isn't it? Everyone's got their own kind of, that's the picture they work in. And that's what I would have been like as well. A picture I work in, this is my zone. And that's it. So everyone else has got all of that going on. And by the time it all comes together, no one's done anything other than their own thing. So, yeah.
See, there you go. See, my point was valid. You said exactly the same thing in different words.
I just repeated it.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. I like it. Okay, so where did you go from Orange then?
We actually took a little break. We went travelling for a little bit, only around Europe, but we went travelling for myself and Kate, jumped in a car. So gave up a house, jumped in a car, and the next day we were in Europe driving around with nothing booked, and just literally off we went with the Lonely Planet Guide and had a couple of months in Europe, just sort of seeing sights and just doing something a little bit different, take a break, and then back to UK, and that's when we moved to Bournemouth. So we'd gone from Bristol, had a couple of months off, and then came down here to Bournemouth. Kate's brother was living down here, and we'd already been visiting, and it's a lovely place to live, and we've become very close to family, and it was a good chance to move to an area that I'd always been holidaying down there as a kid, so it was great to come and be by the sea and all those sorts of different things, and then look for a job, which ended up being in small business, so working for a small business in the kitchens, bedrooms, home interiors, interior fit-outs, and that's where I kind of spent the next 20 years, nearly 19 years within that field, working in a very small business at first, 6 to 8 people, and then we grew. We grew from a a business that was very successful in a way in its own right, and it grew and became more business. And I came in to pretty much establish a bit more of an operations department within that small business where it had been run by the owners, and then take that forward and managing from a team of sort of just nobody to a team of eventually 3 people, and moving it through to a bigger team of subcontractors and that side of things, and really trying to improve how that operations work as a business grew, and how that then fed back into the whole business, which was enjoyable, stressful but enjoyable, because a lot of customer facing roles. So it was quite stressful, but at the same time, young youthful enthusiasm helps at that time as well. Definitely, I think you come from a corporate, you think you come from a business, and I think my eyes were opened very quickly that it's very different, and in good ways and bad ways, that you can have an effect on the business very easily. That's one thing.
Nice. So, I mean, clearly you're not there anymore, though.
No. I left just over 2 years ago now. So I've been in it for one business that we were working for about 12 years, and we actually split the business and went to working as part of the partners sort of separated, and the business set up in a different way in the New Forest, where it was already established, but we set up as a different company, and then we developed and grew that. I got to the point really where life had kind of, that Groundhog Day was sort of in for me. There was no real development. It's that small business of kind of, you've reached your ceiling limit, and it was time to. I sort of sat around. I injured my arm quite badly doing CrossFit and pull-ups, which set me back a little bit. And just a lot of reflection time at that point of like, what am I doing? Where am I going? That kind of midlife crisis kind of feel of what am I doing? Where am I going? I can do different things and help more people, and that was really my kind of mindset. But at the same time, my wife Kate had set up a VA business, and it already started to do really well. And I could see when we were talking and what was going on and where the market was going, that there was definitely a gap to how I needed support when I was in small business. And that was really where it came from. I was sat there thinking I can help more people, I can do different things. And I was looking at Kate's business and thinking, well, what help did I need as a business, as an ops director within a business? What would have made a difference for me, and what would have made a difference for our business, and how we could then try and do something together to try and move it into that kind of more value-driven business that we've got now, really. And I think that was my passion. Was just we're both very supportive people, and I think that's where in life as well as work as well. And I think that was the desire to support and help and influence more people and make a difference to more people. As corny as it sounds, it is generally what we're about, and we're about that as individuals as well. So I think it was just trying to follow our own path rather than under somebody else's, really.
Nice. I like it. Virtual assistant world, then online business manager world.
Yeah.
Interesting world, right?
Very. There's so much to it. I think we all go up. I don't know about you, but certainly we're going into it very naively at the same time. I think it's become since I've been involved in it. I can't talk before. I'm assuming it was growing. It was, especially post lockdown. It was very much a growing industry, and I think now it's become very specialised as well. Lots of different labels and titles, and lots of different levels of support out there, which is semi hard to keep up with sometimes. But I think it's an interesting world, and I think it's something that's growing in different ways now. I think it's evolving, and it's exciting. I think with all the different technology that's coming on board, especially now, it seems to be the AI side of things and where things are moving. It's a really interesting world, and no two things are the same, even though you do the similar sort of functions within a business and within tasks, and it's a different world, and we're trying to make it a little bit different ourselves as well, which is the exciting bit for us.
Yeah, I think we're all obviously individuals, and we all do things differently, but obviously looking to do the same kind of tasks, but across a big spectrum. 'Cause like you say, you got the kind of traditional virtual PA, and then you've got your tech specialists at the opposite end,
Yeah.
and then everything in between. And then obviously you get social media mixed in there as well.
It's amazing what labels and what tasks now are kind of. I think that's what surprised me. I don't know if you've been surprised by it, but what tasks would have traditionally been done by maybe a digital marketing agency, or what would have been done by an HR outsource company or a bookkeeping company, is now very much under the label, it seems, of VA, which is really where it's kind of gone with those specialisms, definitely. And I think that's the interesting side of it.
Yeah, apart from obviously bookkeeping, because you need to be anti-money
Absolutely,
laundering registered.
absolutely, no bookkeeping.
Well, not if it's what is it, 5% of your income or less.
I presume so. I don't. We don't do
I
bookkeeping, so I
no,
steer clear of anything financial. I
I've
would recommend a good accountant.
yeah, I mean, I've avoided it because of the AML regulations, um, and I can't remember. You can do it without AML supervision. That's the word, but it has to be a certain percentage of your income or less, and I can't remember off the top of my head, unfortunately. But a bookkeeper's hourly rate's probably less than a virtual assistant or online business manager rate anyway. So
I would
get
say
yourself a
so.
good,
Yeah,
well trained bookkeeper on board.
absolutely. That's what I would recommend as well.
Me too. Um, cool. So virtual assistant then, not my favorite word. I tend to go with anything but.
Yeah,
I was talking with someone the other week, and I can't even remember who it was to be honest. I'll probably remember like 3 o'clock tonight. But it was like I think that virtual assistant. What's that? And um, I was like, that's funny, isn't it? That's what people kind of say. And I was like, that's why I tend to go with freelance administrator or
yeah. I think
whatever else,
we've
other
done the same. I
terms.
think it's one of those things where we're trying to do exactly that, and it's trying to move away from. And we've been trying to do it for a while, and it's hard to because the association now with virtual assistant is what is different to maybe what's actually being done. I would say, and the sort of level of skill base that as virtual assistants, and in order to survive
Mm,
and be good and be able to deliver value to people, that what market you get sort of labelled with as sometimes as a VA necessarily isn't necessarily representing that value that is provided. I think personally.
yeah, I mean, two things come to mind when you say virtual assistant. Firstly, it's Siri and the one in
Yeah.
the Amazon boxes that I can't say because it'll go off, and whatever Samsung's version is, Sammy or whatever it's called.
Okay.
So that gets labeled as virtual assistant. So if you
Yeah.
search virtual assistant, then it automatically comes up with those things.
Yeah.
Uh,
They've been very
what
clever, haven't they, with it?
Google's got one as well, hasn't it? Yeah, uh, I can't remember what that's called either. But and then the second one is the original virtual assistant, which was people working out in the Far East, in the Philippines and Indonesia, etc., charging £5 an hour or less.
Yeah.
Um, and so if people have heard of that, and then you say, oh yeah, no, well, technically just a virtual assistant kind of thing. Oh, okay, so you're £5 an hour. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh no, no, no. Um, so that's what I tend to try to avoid it just because of those main reasons. But also, it didn't really fit with what I was doing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of more like a customer service inbound sales guy, and that's what I end up doing for my clients mostly,
Yeah.
amongst other things, obviously. And I don't. Well, I do a bit of diary management, but I'm not running around after people like, oh, have you done this? Have you done that?
Yeah,
Um,
I can identify that because we're really truly a business support partner now, where we actually are more like a co-pilot right hand man within a business. We kind of integrate ourselves as part of that business, and we work out what needs to be done for the benefit of that business, rather than just relying on a task list. And I'm sure you're the same. You kind of become really autonomous with the business owner to be able to add value. Otherwise, I don't need to be told what to do all the time or have lists. We work with what are we trying to do, how are you trying to do it. Okay, this is what we need to do that and achieve that. And I think that's what a lot of virtual assistants are now, rather than, like I said, the label doesn't necessarily sort of
mm,
promote that. So yeah, we change it to say that as well, because although it's difficult with search engines and sort of people want a VA,
yeah,
and coaches will say go and get a VA, and you need a VA, you need a VA. But like I said, there's so many different types out there, and it's the association with the fivers and the people per hour and the £5 an hour and things like that. That we're business owners at the end of the day. All of us, all VAs, all we're running our own business. We've got our own costs. We've got our own marketing. We've got our own skill base as well that we really can add a difference. So it is a much bigger thing and more valuable thing than maybe the title suggests. Definitely.
yeah. I mean, not a lot of people are searching freelance administrator on Google.
Yeah.
So yeah. So you have to throw it into your website somewhere, don't you?
You do, yeah. We have a page that we have our pages dedicated, and we're not shying away from it. We're proud at the same time. We are
Yeah,
virtual
of course.
assistants, and we have, and we still provide that service. It is a service we provide, and then it just sometimes the VA service that people want is a traditional sort of, like you said, EA, PA type service, and sometimes it's actually a problem solver, and that's where it then starts to take a difference, and then you're looking for different skill sets.
Yeah, I like that. It does say on my LinkedIn bio, problem solver.
Oh, perfect.
It also says professional sidekick.
Nice. I think I've got wingman on mine.
Nice. Okay, cool. So, business history done. Virtual assistant / online business managers terms done. I think we do the questions, which from this episode forward is what I'm going to call them. They used to be called the quickfire questions. They're now called the questions. Okay, let's go straight in. You've not opted to have these before, so this is like full blind react.
This is natural.
You've given us a few clues throughout the show so far that you're a little bit older than I, and everyone knows that I'm 39. So what's been your favourite age so far, Paul?
Ooh, I've got two. I can't pick on one. I think I felt my best at 30. That's probably where I was. I felt my best. I was in good condition, and I felt my best and felt very happy. And the second time I've got to be 33 when my daughter was born. So yeah, that
nice.
The two thing for me.
I like it. Cool. Question number 2. What is your favourite quote? This could be a movie quote, a meme, a motivational quote, or any other quote you can think of.
It's really boring. It's my business quote, which is "You can do anything but not everything" by David Allen. So that very much is in line with us as people and the business. Yeah.
Nice. When I first started posting on Instagram, my first kind of proper post, I'd tried the whole like just pictures, and I tried writing loads of words underneath. Bear in mind, this is early 2020, so Instagram wasn't what it is now. And my first proper, thought about it post had that quote on it.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Been with me for a while as well, I must admit. Those things.
It's a good one. Cool. Question number 3. Oh, this is a good question for you.
Cool.
Google Suite or Microsoft 365?
This is a difficult one because I use Microsoft Office 365 more than I use Google Suite for work, and I find it my age group, I've brought up on Microsoft, so it's so hard to accept new things in there. I don't like certain things about Microsoft. I don't like certain things about Google, but I definitely I'm go-to Microsoft Office. Yeah, just automatically we put our clients on it if we can. We don't do anything. Just say stick with it.
I'm exactly the same as you, Paul, and it's like Microsoft is obviously the only thing we had back then. When I think I said it in a previous show, we were all in the classroom when we had one computer, and it's like, oh, you're going off to go and play on Word for a bit. Yeah. And it wasn't. It was pre 97. That was so. Whatever Word was before then, before Word 97 to 2003.
Gosh. Yeah.
But it's like I use it because one of my clients used it. But I used a bit of Google as well. But the Google's, it's not quite the same, is it? And it's not quite it doesn't quite look as fancy.
But it's trying to be the same. That's what I find tricky. It's trying to.
They work exactly the same though, don't they? But I mean, Google is starting to look better. Some of the Google Sheets stuff now, you can put real good, nice looking stuff in there. Yeah. I'm like, oh, like that.
Yeah, we do use Google Sheets a lot, I must admit. That's one thing I would say of the crossover. We use it a lot.
But I use OneDrive with one of my clients, and last week it got updated, and it's now no longer sharing his files locally on my computer.
Okay.
So I complained to OneDrive. I was like, you've updated it, fix it, I need it. And they come back and like, yeah, sorry, global problem, we're working on it. And I was like, not cool, man. Google Drive wouldn't do this. And so now, I'm kind of like now I'm having to work online for my OneDrive. But I've thought of it. After a couple of days of panic, what am I going to do? That was the weekend, so it wasn't chargeable time. Um, but now then I was like, hang on a second, I'll just do everything locally and I'll just upload it afterwards so that he can see it if he needs to. But yeah, I mean, I'm like, it's 2025 nearly.
Yeah.
How can you make such a big mess of a program that people use every day?
Definitely, it's like having to call the old IT department, isn't it? And just ask for something to be done. It shouldn't happen now, should it? That's where Google definitely
Yeah,
is so much more streamlined, I think, as far as it goes with that. It's but then it's the security, I suppose, is where they're coming from, because it's the cyber secure side of things, which it's being mindful of, but it's not particularly helpful for operational people, is it?
no, that's it. But yeah, so hopefully they get that sorted soon. But yes, a great answer: Google Suite and Microsoft 365.
Bit of two together.
To
Sit on the fence
summarize,
for that
so yeah, to summarize, see, I can be a consultant too. Um, right, what's question four? Question four: what app can you not live without?
one. Oh, Saints, talk Saints. Saints 1885 is my thing. Southampton Football Club. News need to be kept up to date. I'm a mad football fan, and unfortunately for my sins at this moment in time, a Southampton fan. And yeah, that the Saints app, I can't. Yeah, my news, I can't keep going. What's going on? Look at the stats. Nothing work related. Nothing. No WhatsApps. No keep in touch with everybody else. As long as I've got my kind of football update, I'm kind of content. So if we're stuck on a
Yeah.
beach somewhere, I've got my football. I'm good.
Ah, nice, good. Cool. I see you kind of alluded there to what the previous version of this question. So you must have listened to some of these episodes. Because it used to be if you were stranded on a desert island,
Oh,
what app could you not live without? But it was a bit too
okay.
ambiguous, the question. So people were thinking more about being stranded on the desert island than they were about what's your favorite app.
Hmm.
So we took the old planes coming home from France approach, where they thought that they should put more armor on the planes where the holes were, but then they
Yeah.
realized that actually they made it back, so they need to put more armor where the holes weren't. Another fine motivational go and read a book bit into this podcast there, see?
I need to increase my knowledge. That's what I need to do.
I know, that's it. I'll set them all up, you knock them down. Okay, question number 5. What is no, it's not a what is, it's how many unread emails do you have on your phone right now?
2 or 3. I'm obsessive with not having unread emails. So even if I don't actually do anything with them, to unread them. So, I don't like unread emails. It's one of my triggers. So yeah.
Is
No.
that the same
Hopefully
with
not.
your personal email too?
Yeah, yeah. I've probably got thousands in the inbox still, because it's on my phone. But I wouldn't have. Yeah, I go in if there's an unread email, I have to look at it. Yeah. So at the moment it would be whatever. So when we started the podcast, I'd have had no unread emails, and then when we finish
Nice.
it, there'll probably be some
I like it. Okay, question number 6. This is a fun one. So, if you can have any car, you don't need to worry about the outlay costs, maintenance costs, insurance, etc. What car are you having?
Oh, having a Rolls Royce Spectre, done. Electric Rolls Royce. That's me. Yeah, I love cars. As far as my father was in the motor industry when I grew up, so I was brought up around cars and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I like it. It would be a Rolls Royce Spectre. Yeah, because just
Nice.
the eco-friendly Rolls Royce. So,
Yeah. I can imagine one of those sat there in the middle of Southbourne.
yeah, look great on the drive. Turn it on, all the roof inside lights up. Me sat in there. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Working on your laptop.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, becomes the office expense.
Yeah. Well, you could get a little sign on there and Smartual written along the side.
Yeah, I've not seen many sign written Rolls Royce. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I could get one. I've got a friend who's a
I bet
sign
you
writer,
could,
so that might work.
and you could put it down as a business expense then, see marketing.
Yeah, might have to increase the profits a little bit on that one. Let's get that over
Yeah.
the line. and pass the business partner.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Question. Last question's done. Quick. What were they called now? The questions. The questions are done. Good answers there, Paul. Right. So this is the section where we ask you what you want to be if and when you grow up. Growing up, obviously, not necessary.
Okay. So what do I want to be if and when I grow up? I'm never going to grow up. That's my problem. Is that I like to humour and just trying to be a big kid is my sort of way of coping with the sad reality that I'm going grey and I ache every morning and I can't do what I used to do. So that's kind of difficult for me to answer because I don't think I'm ever going to grow up. So yeah, what would I really want to run this business support company we're doing. It's going to be a very boring answer that says we want to make business support accessible for everybody at a small business, so they're not struggling and they don't think they can't do it, and that we have the ability to enable people, which is a lot of what we're about, to be doing the things they want to do in business, in life, whatever it may be, and that is genuinely a philanthropy kind of answer. But that is what we're about now. The fast cars and holidays and the houses have kind of gone out the window many moons ago, and it's more about making sure that what we do is, and what I do when I grow up is sits well with me, and that I can look back and say, yeah, we did well, we did all right, we helped people, we're good people. And I think ultimately, apart from Donkey Sanctuary, which I'd love, that is kind of me, really.
Nice, I like it. Yeah, I mean, the thing with, I think I've said this on the show before, but the thing with big fancy houses is that you need big fancy amounts of money to run them.
Yeah.
It's like, the heating and stuff like that. I always say if I'd won the lottery, I wouldn't go out and get a massive, massive house. And, I'm talking like real big, big, big jackpot.
Yeah,
like
palatial mansion type money.
Yeah, like one of what is it? I think I saw it on the old social media the other day. What was it? Wayne and Colleen Rooney have got a £3.4 million mansion or something.
Wow.
But it's like, can you imagine how much it costs to heat?
You can only use a couple of rooms at a time, really, can't you? As well. So,
and the lights and everything.
It's just more places for my dogs to get dog hair as well and things like that. So it's the cleaning and keeping up on top of it. I know you'd have to clean it for all that money, but yeah.
Well, then yes, but you can employ a cleaning company, but then that's more expense.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you end up just using the same. Like me, I'm a creature of habit, so I end up using the same things anyway. I don't need pools, and gym doesn't get. I don't get to the gym anymore, so I couldn't do that. I don't think. Couldn't have a big. We all dream of it though, don't we? I still have that Rightmove app, which would have been my second app on my. If I was needing something, is just looking at dream mansions and stuff that I don't ever want. So.
Yeah, I don't think I don't spend too much time on Rightmove. Maybe maybe it's just never a thing for me. But occasionally I'll have a look on the old, through Facebook Marketplace. Oh, that's quite a nice house, and I wander around going, oh, a nice front door there. I bet they've got a lovely extension in there, and I bet they've got millennial grey, yeah. All right. Okay. So, this is the section where I must mention the last episode or the last recording, which was last Tuesday, I think. So it's been over a week since I've recorded an episode of a podcast, which has been nice, but at the same time, it's been a bit strange because normally, my podcast opening diary is like Tuesday, Wednesdays, the Fridays. So you've booked in for a Friday, which is today, and obviously the previous one booked in for a Tuesday, which has given me 10 days or whatever it is in between recordings, which when I started recording on the 2nd of August was my first recording. And your episode, officially episode 26 by number, but it's actually episode 27 because of Rachel's bonus episode. Because we had to move her forward a little bit to coincide with ADHD Awareness Month. Which, when I went to Rachel's event, I met your lovely wife, Kate.
You did,
though I'd spoken to her previously, though it was IRL, something yet we have yet to achieve.
We have. Yeah.
Yes, so, and there was 2 recordings that did go wrong. So I am on nearly 30 recordings since the 2nd of August. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind, but I quite enjoyed the little break. But I must admit, when I was setting up this morning, I was like, do I remember how to do this? But that fun story aside, because I can't remember why I started it, I'm going to tell you what I'm actually talking about now. So, this is it. So last episode, Tuesday, when I was talking to Simply Jules, I said at the end of the show if I was going to do a reel on Instagram. And on Instagram, if someone commented on the... you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut that reel into the video now.
Cool.
So, nice little cut there, Richard. And then put that video in there. I hope I can download it. I'm sure I can. Anyway, so I put this video in. This video now. What we'll do those who watch this mini clip, which will be a reel on Instagram, if you comment underneath, I will mention you in my next recording, which is the 29th of November with Paul Smart. So if you mention us, Radmin Assist, and Simply Jules, then I will mention you in my next episode. How does that sound?
Yay! Love it.
Yeah. Hopefully that's short enough that I can make a reel out of that and a YouTube short.
Look at you, marketing expert.
Well, I take all my top tips from you.
Don't
Right.
do anything.
I've said thank you for coming on, haven't I?
You have, yeah. Thanks for
It's a
having
pleasure
me.
talking to you, Jules.
You too.
And listeners and watchers, once again, thank you. I'll be back next week with another episode. Peace out. And we have had some comments. So, a shout out to Yellow Tuxedo, mentioned quite regularly on the show, I might add. But a shout out to them. Thank you for commenting. A shout out to Richard Hiron, also been on the show and does occasionally get a mention on the show. But he mentioned that he was looking forward to seeing this episode because he knows you too.
That's right.
And a shout out to Focus Gem Photography. She commented on the post. So hello, Focus Gem. And a shout out to Sam Coldcott, Business Support Partner. She commented on the reel too. So hello to all those. Thank you so much for your comments. And hopefully you get to listen to this and you get a little warm fuzzy hug from me for commenting on my post as instructed. Good. So that bit of business aside, I was going to talk to you for something about Richard then, I think.
Okay.
And yes, so I think I'm going to come to. I've got to see loads of people next time I come up to Bournemouth. It's not even funny.
There's quite a few of us here now, isn't there? That, all sort of in the similar circles, which is nice. It's quite a nice community as well. And we all dip up to different networking groups and see each other. And I missed the opportunity. I was in Weymouth in the last summer, and I missed the opportunity. To pop
yes.
in May. And I missed the opportunity to pop down to see you. So it was a bit of a crazy camping trip, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got to see like 4 people if I go to Bournemouth. So I think I'm going to have to make like 4 trips.
Yeah.
So it'd be, but then, oh no. Yeah, no, 4. But there's a lot of talk about a new co-working space.
There's a new one. Patch has just opened up in Bournemouth, which is a new one, which is in Bobby's. So that's just on the big launch, and that seems to be. It looks good. It looks really nice.
This is the one. Yeah, I've seen it. Yasmin from Aloha went there, and Ashley from VANI or Vandy, as it will now be known. Well, this will go out about March, I think, this episode. So probably Vandy by then, yeah. Okay. And he's there too. So, so I've got to go up and see him and that. I've got to go and see my mate old Joe from Kindful Creative.
Oh, I also know, yes.
And I've got to go and see Richard, and I've got to come and see you.
Yeah. Just get up here. Yeah.
I know, it's only like 30 miles, and obviously when I worked in Poole, I did travel it like daily, but I think that whole daily kind of travel thing has put me off it.
Don't blame you. Yeah.
Anyone in Bournemouth always thinks that Weymouth's like miles away. So I'm like, oh my god, it's so far. And
it's 45 minutes to an hour away, isn't it? Really, it depends. Yeah, I must admit, I love Weymouth. So it's a great place to go. I absolutely love it.
I always think that Weymouth's a little bit less cosmopolitan than Bournemouth, and there's a bit more going on up Bournemouth way. But then I read things on the internet about Bournemouth, and I think we're all heading the same kind of way.
Yeah, I definitely think that. Yeah,
it's just that Bournemouth's a bit bigger.
Really like it. Yeah, I think it's got more. I think everyone sort of comes to the beaches and sort of the club inside of it. But I personally, I absolutely do love Weymouth. To be fair.
Yeah, you do seem to have more businessy things up there. You know, like mini golf at what's it, Cactus Jacks or something, or.
Yeah, we've got mini golf. We have got quite a lot going on here. Yeah, there's a dinosaur mini golf just up the road from me. There's lots of mini golfs.
Yeah.
But
people do like business mini golf, don't they? They used to do networking events at these mini golf things.
Yeah.
That sounds much better.
The axe throwing bars here as well. So waiting to see business axe throwing would be quite cool and things like that. So I haven't tried that.
Yeah, can you imagine that? But one of your like competitors, in inverted commas for listeners, turns up.
Interesting. Yeah, could go either way.
Yeah, I mean there is an extra in place over in Bridport Way, but I haven't been there yet. I might do. It's a bit like Viking themed.
It does feel like it should be done, doesn't it? I just haven't. It's that battle bar here, I think it is, but I haven't done it. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I don't want to go in
It's
that
not
bar
up for
though.
it.
They might not let me out. They're like, you are part of the furniture.
Keep you, yeah.
All right, Paul, let's start our wrap up. Because I'm trying to cut these down a little bit. I've got to 150 with someone, and I don't think people are going to continue to listen to me ramble on. Someone used the word fluff once in the preamble. Not directly, they were like, it's all right if it's, interesting, but if it's fluff. And then since then, I've been like, oh my God, no fluff. And then I wonder, and I think, oh, hang on a second, I wonder if my whole entire podcast is just fluff. It's not though, because other people talk, so it can't all be fluff. Just my bits.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, considering I strong-armed you into this, I think you've done really well, and you have got a really interesting story. Sounds like you've had quite the Rad-Venture over the years.
like to think so. Try to.
In a minute after the show, I've got something to tell you, and you're going to love it.
Cool.
But it's not for the public.
Anticipation now.
Yeah. That's it. And now people are like, ooh. It's not for public consumption yet, though. But you're going to love it. It's great. Okay,
cool.
So I won't use the words wrap up because that's when people stop listening on YouTube or stop watching. So let's talk about winding up. Same difference, isn't it? They're gonna stop now, aren't they? But if you are going to stop watching at this point, just wait 2 seconds while Paul tells you exactly where you can find out more about Smartual.
So I'm big on LinkedIn. If you follow me on LinkedIn, so you can follow Paul Smart or also Smartual. Our website, www.smartual.co.uk, and also hang out on Instagram occasionally, and Facebook.
Instagram is the place to hang out, though.
Yes,
that's where all the cool kids are.
Videos at the moment, so yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so I will put your links in the show notes. Thanks to everyone for watching, listening, supporting the show. In the notes, there also will be ways you can support the show. I'm not going to read them out this time, though, because I did that last time, and I don't know how it's going to go. But yeah, once again, thanks to Yellow Tuxedo, Richard Hiron, Sam Caldecott, Business Support Partner, and Focus Gem Photography for commenting on that reel. Thanks to Paul for coming on, and thanks to you if you are listening and or watching. I'll be back next week. Paul won't be, though. We could always get Paul on for another episode if the show changes a little bit, and we could get Kate on and get her perspective.
Yeah. You see that made completely different chalk and cheese.
Yeah, see, we can strong arm her into coming on to the podcast too. Yeah, which I did not do. I just strongly suggested it would make a great episode. Okay, I'll be back next week. Thanks very much. Peace out. Cut. Thanks for joining us on Rad-Ventures. Don't forget to subscribe via your favourite platform. Always happy to chat, so hit me up in the DMs, and I'll see you on the next Rad-Venture.